Hey guys, Barry here for just a quick update. I did transfer my Breakfast Stout into the secondary yesterday or last night. I shot a little bit of footage, but it was a little hectic because I didn't hit my numbers, and then the siphon wasn't great, so I lost a little bit of beer. But I'll show you a peek of that after I show you the beer mail that I got today. I don't really think you need to see another transferring video onto Cocoa Nibs. Puka NC has a good video, and I followed his video to transfer mine. I just put the only thing I did differently was I put the Cocoa Nibs in first, and then transferred the beer on top of it. Then shook it up to wet the Cocoa Nibs. And over the next 8 to 10 days, hopefully they'll take on beer and go down instead of sitting on top the whole time. But I don't want to jostle it too much now because, of course, I don't want the seal to break with the airlock. So here are the beers that I got from Zack from the Chain Reaction Brewing Company, who I plugged. He gave me 3 stickers, from the swag he's gotten so far with planning his brewery. So we got the new Left Hand Brewing Company's Wake Up Dead Nitro Imperial Stout. I don't think I've ever had. I think years ago I had an Imperial Stout on Nitro, but it's been a while, so should be pretty cool because I love their milk stout Nitro, especially at a bar. Then I got from the Elevation Brewing Beer Company, their Berliner Weiss fermented and aged in oak barrels, and I love a good Berliner Weiss, and that should be pretty good. And then their third base Belgian style triple. Triple is one of my favorite styles of beer, just like Chris from Beer Geek Nation. So it'll be cool to try another triple. And then the most recent 750 from Great Divide is a Peach Grand Cru. She was fresh peaches, and I love fresh peaches, so should be pretty nice. And I'll be doing beer reviews of these because I really want to start getting back into beer reviews. So that's it for the beer mail. Actually, no. He also sent me from Pablo's Coffee. I'll get it out. 3 different coffees. These 2 big ones, they're Black Label, and they're one other, the Black Label and the Sidamo coffee are the 2 that I'm going to test for the cold press for my Breakfast Stout, which is probably going to end up being 5.2% or 5.25% instead of 6.2%. But whatever, it'll be a Breakfast Stout. So let's go look at the beer. So I made a bucket of Star San, so I'm just leaving that covered, so I'll need it later in the week. And then I left that bucket just in case I decide to, use that towel to wick up the cold onto the secondary, even though it's staying pretty cool. So here's the secondary. There's been some airlock activity today as it adjusts, and the CO2 that was stirred up in solution starts to release. But it's staying at 70 degrees, between 68 72, typical room temperature. I'm going to keep taping cold frozen water bottles to it to make sure that it stays at room temperature and doesn't really get above 72 degrees above room temperature, because while temperature doesn't matter as much during secondary fermentation, because I didn't hit my numbers, I want to make sure that it stays at a good temperature so there's not too many esters in the beer, because there was a little bit too much for my taste in the taste when I tasted the sample, even though it did still taste pretty good. And some of us brewers know that stouts take longer to condition. One cool thing that I did do when I had too much left over from my siphon was I did a ghetto bottle with the bottom part of the beer thief and my sanitized funnel. I did bottle a bottle of the base beer with 1/8 of a teaspoon of priming sugar. So I'm just gonna let that sit there at room temp and see what happens. It's just an experiment. I don't know if it's gonna work. Maybe you guys can tell me if it'll work or not. But since I was losing a little extra beer, like more than the typical half gallon at the end of the bucket with the Trube, I decided to drink a little bit, bottle a little bit, and let my wife drink a little bit. So in the end, there's still like a gallon of headspace in there. because the beer's probably supposed to come up to there, the 5-gallon mark. But I'm only leaving it in there for 8 days. Should be perfectly fine with the headspace. I asked the guys at Bitter and Esters about that, and they said it should be fine for just 8 days with a little bit of extra headspace. And some of the volume I lost will be made up by the cold pressed coffee anyway. So if I lose 2-3 bottles, maybe 4 bottles, my first batch, I'm not so worried. But I still am glad that I got a 5-gallon better bottle from the event at Bitter and Esters, which you'll see the footage from. You'll see the footage from Bitter and Esters hopefully this week. I can't tell you any more now, but you'll be getting, I have to get some okays from the guys at Bitter and Esters to actually post the footage, because they also filmed their own footage for the event. So yeah, so it was a great event. I filmed about the event, the Mystery Brew event, and an interview with them. So you guys will be seeing that soon, and I hope to be doing a lot more work with with Doug and John at Bitter and Esters in the future, and so you guys can have, you know, me and a brew tuber collaborating on a more regular basis with a homebrew shop. So that's my update for now, and I hope you guys are drinking some good homebrew and craft beer, of course, and cheers. Catch you on Homebrew Wednesday. So what I want to do is create a cool 5 to 6 minute, you know, Homebrew Wednesday